My wife left a note saying I need freedom, so I gave it to her, legally. I woke up to sunlight crawling across the kitchen table and a folded piece of paper where my wife used to sit. At first, I thought it was a grocery list until I saw my name on top. There, sitting in the middle of the kitchen table, was a folded piece of paper with Nathan written in Lena's handwriting. I unfolded it slowly, already uneasy. Nathan, please don't look for me. I need freedom. Freedom. That word echoed through the quiet house like an insult. There were still 2 cups in the sink from last night, her jacket hanging on the chair, her wedding ring missing from its dish. I checked the bedroom. Empty. The closet. Half empty. Her car was gone. At first, I thought she might be visiting her sister, until I saw the bank app on my phone. 3 cash withdrawals, 2 hotel charges, and a transfer to a new account I'd never seen before. That's when the note stopped looking poetic and started looking like betrayal. I sat in the kitchen for hours, waiting for anger to hit. It never did. Instead, I felt this eerie calm, the kind that comes after a fire has already burned everything. Emma called. You sound weird, she said. Lena's gone, I replied. What do you mean gone? She left a note, said she needed freedom. There was a long pause, then softly. Nathan, don't chase her. She was right. Chasing her would only give her the power to hurt me again. So I opened my laptop, found Tyler Grant's number, and booked a meeting for the next morning. Tyler had been my friend since college and my lawyer for just as long. When I told him about the note and the withdrawals, he leaned back in his chair. She's already moved money? Yeah. 3 transactions. He exhaled. Then we protect what's left. By noon, every joint account was frozen, credit cards canceled, mortgage transferred solely to my name. It wasn't revenge. It was insurance. Tyler looked at me. You sure you're okay? I'm past okay, I said. I'm done being blindsided. That night I slept better than I had in months. The silence in the house didn't hurt. It healed. The next morning Tyler called again. She might contact you once she realizes what you did. Don't engage. Let the paperwork speak, I asked. You think she's with someone? He hesitated. The note, the sudden withdrawals, the hotel, it adds up. It did. The word freedom was starting to sound a lot like someone else. I thanked him and hung up. Then I opened our photo album birthdays, anniversaries, the trip to Greece. Every smile looked staged in hindsight, every kiss slightly off timing. That's when it hit me. I hadn't lost a wife. I'd lost the illusion of one. Instead of hiding, I booked the same vacation we'd planned for our anniversary, just 1 ticket this time. When the plane took off, I watched the city disappear under the clouds and felt the weight of her choices lift. On day 2, I got a text from an unknown number. Nathan, please pick up. I made a mistake. I turned the phone face down on the pool chair. Sunlight hit the water, calm and endless. For the first time in years, so was I. 5 days passed. I was sitting on a balcony in Santorini, drink in hand, when my phone lit up. Nathan, please answer. I made a mistake. The number was blocked. 3 more messages followed, short, frantic, misspelled. I turned the phone over and stared at the sea instead. For once, I wasn't reacting to her. She was reacting to me. The calm felt strange, almost wrong, like my heart hadn't caught up with my brain yet. Tyler had warned me this might happen. The guilt always hits when the money stops. I smiled at that, not out of spite but recognition. Whatever freedom she was chasing had started to cost her. When I got back home, her car was in the driveway. The house looked smaller somehow, filled with echoes of things unsaid. Lena was on the couch, eyes red, hands shaking. I'm so sorry, she said before I even spoke. I didn't think you'd actually let me go. I stayed standing. You told me not to look for you. She cried harder. He promised we'd start a new life, but when the accounts froze, he disappeared. I can't believe I was that stupid. I wanted to feel angry. I didn't. I just felt distance, like I was listening to someone else's story. Freedom had betrayed her faster than I ever could. I didn't cheat, she insisted through tears. It wasn't like that. We just talked. He understood me. Her voice cracked on. Understood. I asked, did he understand your wedding vows too? Silence. She reached for my hand, but I stepped back. I'm not angry, Lena, I said quietly. I'm done. That was the hardest truth of all, not hate, just nothing left to give. Tyler called later that night. She back? Yeah, I said. Then let her face the paperwork. I nodded. Freedom signed in ink, not emotion. A week later, a brown envelope arrived, bank statements Tyler requested. Inside was proof. Transfers to a boutique hotel under L. Harper, her maiden name. 2 guests per room. I stared at the paper, waiting for the hurt. But I'd already burned through every ounce of pain the night she left. I sent Tyler a photo of the statement. He replied, "That's enough for the filing. You want me to include adultery?" "Yes," I typed. Then deleted it. Then typed again. "No. Just irreconcilable differences. Sometimes dignity is the sharpest blade." By month's end, the divorce draft was ready. Lena had nowhere to stay. Her so-called friend had vanished with what little she withdrew. She came by once more, suitcase in hand. "Can I crash here for a few nights?" I shook my head. "You left this place to find freedom. Don't come back looking for shelter." Tears fell, but I didn't flinch. My self-respect had finally learned to lock the door. That night, I poured a drink, looked around the quiet house, and realized freedom wasn't something she stole. It was something I finally took back. It's amazing how fast the truth spreads once silence stops protecting someone. Within 2 weeks, people at Lena's old firm knew she had taken a break to find herself. What they didn't know, but quietly suspected, was who she'd gone to find. At a family gathering, Emma pulled me aside. "She's been posting cryptic quotes about heartbreak," she said. "People are asking questions." I shrugged. "Let them ask. I didn't have to expose her. The holes in her story did that for me. Every rumor that surfaced wasn't revenge, it was consequence. Sometimes, you don't need to ruin a person's reputation. You just stop defending it." Tyler texted, "Paper's ready. Need your signature." I met him at his office, signed every line without hesitation. He looked at me, still calm. "I've had time to practice," I said. The next day, Lena called from an unknown number again. "Can we talk before this becomes permanent?" I almost laughed. "Lena, it became permanent the moment you walked out." Her silence said everything. When she finally spoke, her voice was small. "I thought you'd fight for me," I replied softly. "That's the thing, Lena. You told me not to." Emma came over one evening with takeout and that big sister concern written all over her face. "You're handling this like a machine," she said. "You sure you're okay?" I smiled faintly. "Being calm doesn't mean I'm not human." She nodded. "You always protected her more than yourself." I thought about that, how I used to check her messages, excuse her absences, rewrite stories in my head so they'd hurt less. Not anymore. "This time, I'm protecting my peace," I said. Emma raised her glass of wine. "To peace, then." We clinked glasses, and for once, I didn't feel guilty for choosing myself. Weeks later, a mutual friend mentioned Lena was back living with her parents. Apparently, her freedom partner had maxed out her credit card and disappeared overseas. She tried reaching out again, a voice note this time. "You were right. About everything. I miss you." "I miss us." I didn't reply. Not because I was bitter, but because I finally understood that closure doesn't always come through conversation, it comes through distance. Tyler once said, "Some people have to lose everything before they realize what they had." Now, I knew he was right. The papers came back, signed. It was official. Lena Bennett no longer existed. Just Lena again. I sat in the quiet, reading the decree one last time. There was no satisfaction, no triumph, just stillness. Emma texted, "It's really over, huh?" I replied, "It's really beginning." Outside, the evening air smelled like rain and possibility. Freedom. The same word she'd written in that note, only this time, it belonged to me. 3 months after the divorce, I noticed that I'd stopped counting days. Morning coffee didn't taste like memory anymore. It tasted like morning. I joined a small gym, started running again, even took a weekend trip with friends. For the first time, I laughed without guilt. At a cafe one afternoon, a stranger asked if the seat was taken. Her name was Maya. We talked for 2 hours about books, travel, and the quiet art of starting over. When she smiled, it didn't hurt. That's how I knew I was healing, not because someone new replaced Lena, but because I no longer needed anyone to. A thick envelope arrived one rainy morning. Return address, L. Bennett. Inside, a handwritten letter. "Nathan, I don't expect forgiveness. I just need you to know I ruined the only good thing I ever had. I chased excitement and called it freedom. I thought love was a cage until I realized it was shelter." The paper was smudged where her tears had hit. I folded it neatly and set it aside. There was compassion, yes, but no invitation to reopen old wounds. Sometimes, mercy means not replying. A month later, she asked to meet. Against Tyler's advice, I agreed, one coffee, neutral ground. Lena looked smaller somehow, like life had taken a few victories from her. I just wanted to see you doing okay, she said. I am, I answered. She nodded, eyes glossy. You didn't deserve what I did. I know. Simple words, but they landed heavier than anger ever could. We talked for 10 minutes about nothing important. Then I stood to leave. As I walked away, she whispered, You really let me go, didn't you? I smiled without turning back. You let yourself go first. That night I sat by the window with a glass of whiskey and the sound of rain on the glass. I thought about how everything can change with a single sentence. Don't look for me. I need freedom. At the time, it felt like the end of my life. Now, it felt like the start of one. I realized that love doesn't die in betrayal. It dies in neglect. She had been gone long before she packed her bags emotionally, quietly, piece by piece. All I did was finally notice. 6 months later, I stood on a beach, watching the sunset, the same trip we'd planned together once. Waves rolled in, erasing footprints like they were never there. I took a deep breath and whispered the words she left me. Don't look for me. I need freedom. Then I smiled. Thanks for teaching me what that really means, because freedom isn't running away. It's standing still long enough to choose peace. And peace, once you find it, is worth every loss that led you there.